This has been a month of South Korean films that we've been doing, and we have a little fun thing, something different for you as well. We're going to put up there, which we filmed this a couple of weeks ago. We have a friend Nick, who we've known for years, and he lives in South Korea, and he's out there at the moment. He's been out there for many years, but we thought it would be quite fun to do an interview with Nick and talk about Korean cinema and cinema in general and things like that. But we did film it because obviously things have been going on in the world out of our control, and we also tried to work out the best way to film it with him and not film it with him, because obviously South Korea have gone through their own current thing. Because they had a lot of cases very quickly. So Nick was able to film this because he works in the school out there, and his schools were closed. So he's been going into school alone. I don't know.
Weird.
Very weird. Yeah. So he filmed it very graciously, filmed it for us, and we asked some questions. But we've done it kind of a couple of times just to try and get it as right as we can get it. So what you're about to see was filmed a couple of weeks ago.
So some things are a little bit out of date.
Some things are a little bit out of date, exactly. So ignore that, and just it's mainly there to just kind of get ask a few questions to Nick about South Korean cinema, and we just wanted to do something a little bit different. So enjoy. So last Friday we did our second film from South Korea. We're doing a month of films from South Korea, and we thought we'd do something a little bit different today. We have a friend Nick who lives in South Korea. Mm-hmm. It's handy, isn't it?
It is very handy. Yeah.
So we thought we'd have a chat to him about South Korea cinema and culture. So hello, Nick.
Or hello in however you say it in Korean. Maybe you could tell us.
Yeah, maybe you could teach us how to say hello in South Korean. So hello, Nick.
Hello, Simon and John, and thank you for inviting me on your channel today. So, you want to learn some Korean? Want to learn how to say hello? Well, Korean is an honorific language system, so you use a different word depending on the level of the person. If you're talking to your boss, you have to speak with a lot more respect in Korea. However, the most common expression that people are using would be 안녕하세요. 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 Why don't you see if you can say hello now in Korean?
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
I don't think I'm going to be fluent anytime soon.
No, I think no. That was a pretty good try. Yeah. I think.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean the reason we're doing this month of films is because Parasite won the Best Picture Oscar. So has that been big news in South Korea? Is everyone talking about it?
Yes, the news about the Parasite movie has been a real big thing here in South Korea. I actually saw the movie a few months ago, and at that time not that many people were talking about this movie, but now everybody in Korea is talking about it, and Koreans being very patriotic about their country. They're very proud of the fact that this film won an Oscar. It's fantastic news. And to put it in perspective, the film has gone back into the cinema. It's actually showing in movie theatres across all of the country. Of course, this is at the exact same time that the coronavirus has come to South Korea, with over 5,000 people now infected. So I know many people went to see this Parasite movie wearing one of these masks. They were really keen to show support for it, really keen to see it. So it's great that people made the effort to go and see this movie during what is currently a bit of a difficult time here in Korea.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nick. I mean, it's quite similar here too. I mean, things are picking up, obviously not at the rate of South Korea, but it's nice that people are still going out and living their lives and kind of just getting on with usual. And I thought it was also interesting because I had read actually that I think Parasite had come out for some reasons quite a long time ago, and then so obviously yes, if you're in South Korea, you will have seen it.
A long time
ago. So it's nice to hear that people are, embracing it and in the current climate are going out to see it, masked or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next question is, I guess we presumably only see a fraction of the South Korean film industry's output. Does it look like that's possibly going to change now? We'll see more of South Korea's films in the West.
Yes, I do think it's going to change. In the past kind of 10 years, Korean culture has been spreading around the world in forms of food and music. And I think now it's time for the turn of the movie industry to really be publicized and promoted, across the Western countries. Because there's a lot of good movies and there's different genres for everybody. We talk about some quite serious movies, but there are also kind of comedy movies, romantic movies, lots of horror movies. So there are different types of themes for everyone to enjoy. And I really hope that the change is coming. And I think this movie, Parasite, will be a part of that big change. Winning an Oscar is a big deal. And in the future, we're going to be seeing more Korean movies at the theatre.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I've said before, I haven't seen a huge amount of Korean films, but I would say most of the films I've seen are horror.
Yeah.
I think we all like a bit of horror on this channel.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt Korean films that aren't very well known, or not known at all, outside of Korea. Are there any you think would play well to a Western audience?
Yes, I do think there are some really good movies that could and should be playing to Western audiences. There's been some amazing films coming out of South Korea in the last 20 years that have received very little attention outside of this country. So I'll give a mention to two films as examples that I think are really great. A fairly recent film, this one here, Taxi Unjonsa, A Taxi Driver, its English title. This movie is all based on a true story. During the 1980s, Korea was a military dictatorship, and in the city of Gwangju, the people rose up and actually took control of their own city. And then, of course, the sad result was that the military sent in the troops, and a lot of people were killed or even massacred, by their own government. And in this story is about a taxi driver and a German journalist who make a very special friendship. And the German journalist tries to report on the truth of what's going on there. I won't give too much of the details away about this film because I really do think people should go and see it. It's a sad film, sometimes funny film, but very beautifully made and based on the true story, based on history. It's something I feel people should know more about. Another example is the movie Bakjui. Bakjui means bat, but its English title was Thirst. This was a Park Chan-wook film. He's quite a famous movie director. This movie is a vampire movie, and it's a much more different take on the vampire genre. Quite scary, quite dark, and very well directed and very well made. So there's one that I would recommend for people to see. And obviously, in reference to these two films, I really hope that more films like these ones will be shown to Western audiences in the future.
Oh, right, yeah. A Taxi Driver sounds really interesting. I'm definitely going to try and check that one out.
It does, yeah.
It's interesting you say Thirst. We've actually already chosen to do that for our next video. So, we can definitely recommend that. We will recommend it in the next video.
Definitely, yeah. So one thing I noticed a couple of minutes ago, you had a poster which seemed to say festival. What's that about?
Well, if you want to see more Korean films, one way to do that is to go to the London Korean Film Festival. That's held every year, and last year in 2019, it was over 3 weeks from the 1st of November to the 24th of November. They screen lots of different styles and types of Korean films. I first went a long time ago and saw the movie My Sassy Girl and some other cool movies. And if you go to the website koreanfilm.co.uk, you get all the details about the Korean Film Festival in London, but also they have Korean movie nights throughout the year where you can go and see some other different Korean movies as well.
Oh, great, thanks. I have to say I've never heard of the London Korean Film Festival, so that shows my ignorance. I will have to go and check. Will you go and check some of those films out?
I might do, yeah, if I have the time, which I probably won't. But I'll look it out for this year and see what's going on.
Yeah, there might be some interesting things there. One thing I suddenly thought of, and I think we may have mentioned it when we did the first film, is North Korea. I mean, does North Korea have a film industry?
Yes, North Korea does have its own movie industry. And Kim Jong-il, who was the previous leader, he was very enthusiastic about making films and trying to direct films. In fact, he was so enthusiastic, he actually kidnapped a South Korean movie director and his wife. And they made a number of movies for him until they managed to secretly run away many years later. Anyway, he got this movie director to make the movie Pulgasari. Pulgasari is a kind of dark action fantasy film. Basically, it's kind of a remake of Godzilla, made in 1985, and it has this rather strange-looking monster who runs around doing crazy stuff. Another movie I could mention is Comrade Kim Goes Flying, made in 2012. This movie is jointly directed by Belgium's and British and North Korean directors. They all made this film together. And this movie is about a female coal miner who wants to become a trapeze artist. It's actually a kind of comedy romance movie. And luckily, the foreign directors in this film from Belgium and United Kingdom, they managed to steer the story away from the usual kind of propaganda stuff that you would expect in a North Korean movie. So those are two examples of North Korean movies that you might want to look at. Pulgasari is on YouTube, and you can watch the whole thing. So why not go and take a look?
Comrade Kim Goes... Sounds interesting. Sounds a bit bizarre if you ask me.
I want to check out Pulgasari. That sounds good. Yeah, so it sounds like you go to the cinema quite a lot in South Korea. Is it a particularly different experience from the UK?
Well, going to the cinema in South Korea, it's similar, but some things are different. And for example, you've got the same food, the popcorn and the ice cream, but they also have Korean-style snacks like dried squid or spicy octopus, sometimes very spicy chicken. But the interesting thing is they often sell beer. You can buy draft beer in the cinema and take it inside and drink it while watching the movie. Sometimes there's a beer set that you can buy as a combination with other food. Recently, everything is automated in the cinema. There's like a kind of like a giant tablet or a giant LCD screen, and you buy the tickets on this touchscreen. So you can't actually buy from any physical staff. I quite like that because the touchscreen, you can change it into English language, so it makes it much easier for foreigners to buy a ticket. And once you got your ticket, you can go inside. They tend to let you take whatever you want inside. I usually take a big bag full of snacks or sometimes beer, and they don't seem to check you. They let you go in with whatever you want. That's kind of cool. But once you're inside, it's the same. You've got the seats and the seat numbers. But then they do have a lot of adverts. Too many adverts. And the strange thing is, they will show an advert and then they show the exact same advert again. So you get to see the same advert 2 times. That I find slightly annoying, to be honest. But overall, it's a good experience. A lot of 3D movies. 3D movies are often popular. And also 5D movies are popular, where you have this giant chair which moves around and sprays water in your face and sprays smoke in your face and stuff like that. That's something that I personally don't enjoy that much. Maybe that's also a popular thing in the UK now. It wasn't around when I was living there. But yeah, lots of different types of stuff. And it's worth noting that actually the movies can screen really late. It's quite common for the theatres to screen up till midnight or up to 1 a.m. So you can go and see movies right up into the wee hours of the morning.
Okay, yeah, so the 5D sounds a bit like 4DX, which we have over here, which has like the moving seats and the air and water spraying at you. I can't say I've ever tried it myself. I mean, I like 3D movies, but I think all that extra stuff, I don't know, I probably find it a bit distracting.
Yeah, it's a little bit like what they used to have in the 50s, all that, is it William Castle, all that crazy
yeah,
stuff.
that sort of thing. I mean, they have those sort of things in like Legoland and things like that, but you're only watching it for like 10 minutes there, but I think, a whole movie, I could probably get a bit bored of it. I don't know. And it's really expensive, so that's what mainly puts me off. But yeah, I mean, most of it sounds the same. We've got the big touch screens now. They've got rid of most of the tills, apart from where they sell you snacks, obviously. Some cinemas have beer. It's not unheard of.
Yeah, we tend not to have spiced octopus or spicy octopus.
No, and I think that's probably
quite
a
Asian
good thing.
It's probably quite a good thing.
Don't really want an octopus with my popcorn. No.
Without having an alien while you're trying to watch the film, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can live without that. I'm happy that we don't have those. Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of the Korean films we see over here tend to be dramas and thrillers. It seems like a lot of Japanese films we get are horrors. So, and it seems like each export we get from different countries, there seems to be one genre that's particularly popular.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are dramas and thrillers of that sort of thing, the most popular genre in South Korea?
Yes, Korean drama movies and Korean thrillers and also action movies, they are very popular. Back in the 1990s, this kind of expression and term, Hallyu. Hallyu was the Korean New Wave, when things were being exported from South Korea, like movies, TV shows, and also the music. And in 1999, the film Shiri was released. Now, Shiri was the first kind of Korean blockbuster movie, a much more expensive movie to make, and it grossed around 11 million US dollars. It was very successful. It was a kind of important movie. It was the first one to address the idea of the concepts of like North and South Korea and reunification. And then in 2001, the movie My Sassy Girl. This is more of a kind of romantic comedy movie. That was very successful. But the key thing with that movie is it was remade in America in an English version. Also, a TV show was made out of it. And that's another common theme of some Korean films that are successful with a good story. They get remade as an English language version in America. So I would also say, though, like, different genres are popular. The romantic films, but especially the comedy films. One notable mention is the movie Haeundae, which is about a tsunami that comes to Korea and wipes everyone away. There's a lot of kind of comedy and action in that movie that appeals to the Korean audiences.
I've noticed the last few Korean films I've watched, rain seems to feature heavily. Like in Parasite, it does have quite an important impact, on the plot and the events. Yeah, Mother, it's not quite as much, but it certainly does. There's a certain event that takes place that if it didn't, things would turn out differently. Bittersweet Life that we did obviously features quite a lot of rain. I mean, I think that's probably just for effect, but does it rain a lot in South Korea? Is that why all these movies feature rain?
Well, English people always like to talk about the weather and the rain, but to be honest, in Korea it doesn't rain as much as it does in England, but we do have a rainy season. Maybe film directors like to make use of that rainy season in some movies. It will rain here for like 2 or 3 weeks, just heavily every day. And when it rains in Korea, it really does seem to rain a lot more heavier than it does in England, sometimes causing flooding. So I'm guessing these movie directors that they're using the Korean heavy rain when they can, when it does rain like that, using it to amplify the visual effect and the mood and the meaning of the movie.
I think Asia, Japan, Korea, China, a lot of these countries, they have that kind of rainy season that we just have every other Saturday.
Yeah. It just rains all the time.
Yeah.
So before we started this, we asked you if you wanted to do a little list of some of your favourite Korean movies. So do you want to give us that now?
So here is a small pick of some of my favourite films, different genres. And the first one is Welcome to Donmakul. This is a war story where North Korean and South Korean soldiers, they meet up in this small village called Donmakul. The villagers there have no idea of what's going on in the outside world. And the story of the relationship between the North Korean soldiers, South Korean soldiers, and the villagers is very beautiful. Some comedy and also a lot of sadness as well. It's a great film. And another film, A Tale of Two Sisters. This is a horror story with a good twist in at the end. Another one I would highly recommend. I won't give too much of the story away. And another movie that I really love, which not many people may know of, is Save the Green Planet. This is a movie about a man who thinks that the boss of this company is actually an alien and that he's like destroying the environment. So he tries to stop him. It's quite humorous, also a bit sad, a little bit comedy, a little bit science fiction, and a really great film. And then the last one here is a movie, its English title is Secret Sunshine, and its Korean title is Milyang. Milyang is the name of the city where the whole film is set, and that city is just 20 minutes drive from here. It's very close to where I am now, and if you go to the city, you can see all the locations where they filmed. It's quite a dark and sad story. It's about a woman whose son gets kidnapped and also murdered. And the story goes from there. Lots of different themes and ideas in there, and a very powerful movie, to be honest. So there's a small pick of some of my favourites and ones to recommend.
Oh, some good picks there. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Tale of Two Sisters, but not the others. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna see if I can check those out.
Definitely, yeah. So you guys won't know from our channel that Nick actually has his own YouTube channel. So Nick, do you want to plug your channel for us?
Okay, plug my YouTube channel. That's very kind. It's just a very small YouTube channel showing mainly travel videos about South Korea and also Japan and a few of Vietnam. And it's called Yongguk Ahjussi. Yongguk Ahjussi. Yongguk means English. And Ahjussi is, well, it's a kind of a man who's 35 plus, maybe a middle-aged man like myself. Ahjussi is actually a really great Korean movie. Its English title is called The Man from Nowhere. But anyway, yeah, my YouTube channel, it's called Yongguk Ahjussi. If you feel in the mood, you can go there and see some videos about travel, especially in South Korea.
35 plus, middle-aged people talking about stuff sounds a bit like us, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, I think his channel is actually really good, and he's got some really interesting. It's very different to ours. He doesn't talk about films, but it's really good. And Nick's like he's like an ex-photographer. Well, he's not an ex-photographer, but he is a photographer. He doesn't do it anymore, and he sometimes puts some of his photographs on there, and they're really great.
Yeah,
really good stuff.
So yeah, we'll put a link to his channel in the description below. So check that out. I recommend the fish and chip videos. They always make me very hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So they look like to do some really nice fish and chips in Korea. So anyway,
indeed, yeah.
I think we'll end it there. So as you told us how to say hello, you might as well teach us how to say goodbye.
Okay, saying goodbye in Korean is not so simple as it is in English. There's the honorific level system, which can change the word. And then also it depends on whether I am staying and you are leaving, or you are staying and I am leaving. There's a different way to say goodbye. So I think the best thing to do is that I'm going to stay here and you are leaving, so we use this expression or phrase, which is 안녕히 계세요. 안녕히 계세요. I'll break it down slowly. 안녕히 계세요. 안녕히 계세요. So why don't you practice that, and I will say thank you very much for inviting me on your channel today, and see you later. Bye bye.
안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
And you are right, because we are the ones leaving.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed that video with Nick. Go and check out his YouTube channel, and come back on Friday where we'll have our third South Korean movie for you.